Developed and published by Capcom, Dragon's Dogma 2 is directed by Hideaki Itsuno, who directed the 2012 original and most recently directed Devil May Cry 5. First announced in 2022 and built using the RE engine, fans of the series have been waiting 12 years for a new installment in the Dragon's Dogma series and are finally getting one this month when it releases on the 22nd of March on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC via Steam. It is the first Capcom game to be retailed at $70, so it has a lot to live up to, although the hype and excitement for the game is palpable, and it is probably one of the most highly anticipated RPGs coming out in 2024, with good reason. Here is everything that we know about the game so far. While it might be named Dragon's Dogma 2, it is not a sequel. Similar to the original, the game is a fantasy adventure where players assume the role of an Arisen, a legendary hero who is destined to slay an ancient dragon and assume the throne. Set in a parallel world to the original game, players begin their adventure imprisoned in an underground dungeon. As you escape the dungeon, it becomes clear that the Arisen is suffering from amnesia and can't remember anything, including the people they supposedly saved from the dragon, though there does seem to be some doubt as to if they are the true Arisen. For those wondering, game director Hideaki Itsuno has confirmed that you don't need to have played the original game, especially given that it is set in a parallel world. However, playing the original may give you a better understanding of the game's mechanics, especially the pawn and vocation systems. The story will focus on a conflict between two competing ideologies, the human kingdom of Vermund and the Beastren of Batal. Vermund is a kingdom of humanity where the Arisen rules as king. Here the Arisen is revered. It is the first nation the protagonist explores, built on a lush green land. The king and nobles reside within the kingdom's fortified city, and the town where the commoners reside sprawls around the castle. Currently, the Queen Regent Disa supports a false Arisen. Vermund is the scene of political intrigue and many conspiracies to seize the throne. Batal is a nation of Beastren, a new race in the Dragon's Dogma series. The Beastren have their own unique culture and live amongst steep canyons in Batal, which hold ancient ruins and cities carved into rock formations. The culture, customs and beliefs of Batal have been nurtured by their harsh environment and differ from those of Vermund. In Batal, pawns are seen as a source of misfortune. Instead, the Arisen is seen as a bad omen. The citizens worship the lambent flame to ward off calamity. Its empress Nadinia is at the heart of this religion. A third location shown in trailers is Sacred Arbor, home to the elves. Within the world of Dragon's Dogma, the elven race prefer to remain isolationist. They prefer not to interact with other races and live in the remote village of Sacred Arbor. The elves speak their own language, which makes communication with them difficult. Players will have to choose sides in the conflict between Vermund and Batal and will have to deal with the false Arisen, a challenger to the dragon's power, before taking on the dragon themselves. According to Itsuno, Dragon's Dogma 2 is one of Capcom's most ambitious games to date, especially when it comes to its open world design. The game's world map is apparently 4 times the size of the original, promising to offer plenty to do from its main story, side mission content and epic boss fights. An interesting design choice though is that the game will not offer an unrestricted fast travel system like in most open worlds. Players can use ox carts, which enable travel between select cities along a specific path, though at a cost. Fast travel is also limited, requiring port crystals and ferry stones for teleporting. Fast travel will only be possible after placing port crystals in an area, with a limit of 10 being allowed to be placed during one time. Players will then have to use ferry stones to teleport to those locations. Much of the traversal during the game will be on foot, encouraging exploration and discovery along the way. Let's hope that the game's open world is full of things to see and discover, which will surely break up the monotony of walking everywhere. Another restriction that developers have enforced is that the game will only support one save file, encouraging players to think carefully when making decisions, as they will not be able to save scum on things, although there will apparently be a fairly forgiving autosave function, meaning that it should be impossible to become soft locked at any point in the game. Dragon's Dogma 2 is an action-heavy RPG, offering third-person combat that is very much dependent upon your vocation, the game's in-term name for classes. At the beginning of the game, players can choose from 4 starting vocations. You have the Fighter, which excels in melee combat, deftly wielding a sword and shield. Fighters are adept at slicing through enemy ranks and delivering powerful blows, while also using their shields to protect themselves and their allies. The Archer specializes in long-ranged attacks using a bow and arrows. They perform their attacks from afar and can target enemies from higher positions. They are essential in supporting the front line. By targeting enemy weaknesses, they can create opportunities for allies to strike. The Thief attacks with deadly speed, dealing rapid and consecutive strikes with daggers in both hands, while exhibiting its outstanding mobility. They quickly step away after striking, exploit openings to cling onto enemies, and inflict heavy damage. They can also steal items from NPCs and enemies. The Mage wields a staff and offers support to their party in various ways, from launching magic attacks, offering enchantments that bolster their allies' weapons, to casting healing spells. The more advanced and powerful the magic is, the longer the incantation time needed. As such, the Mage wants to stay far away from potential enemy attacks, instead playing a more strategic role in supporting their party from afar. As the story progresses, players will also unlock advanced vocations. The ones we know about so far include the Mystic Spearhead, a vocation that offers a blend of short-range weapons and long-range magic. This vocation is only available to the Arisen, a well-balanced vocation that is effective from any range. The Mystic Spearhead is a master of their unique weapon, the Duo Spear. Using magic, they can paralyze enemies or hurl multiple objects at them, giving the player plenty of options in combat. The Warrior boasts a robust physique, specializing in direct combat with the strength to endure enemy counterattacks. Warriors are masters of two-handed weapons, such as the greatsword and the hammer. The strike that they can unleash after charging their attack is among the most powerful attacks in the game. They are heavy hitters, your damage dealer in the party, and will generally take most of the aggro, acting as a tank class if you don't have a fighter in your party. The Sorcerer is a vocation that specializes in various attack magics. Their magic is more potent than a mage, as it is cast with both hands through a large staff and can change the tide of a battle. As their magic spells take longer to cast, it is key for the Sorcerer to find a safe place and determine the correct moment to strike. The Magic Archer is another vocation only available to the Arisen. They excel in long-range combat with their magical arrows. In addition to attacking, they also have access to healing magic, making them adept at supporting the party. They can also learn a custom skill that unleashes a devastating attack over a wide area in exchange for reducing their own maximum HP. The Trickster is another vocation exclusive to the Arisen. They can conjure illusions through smoke, created by a unique weapon called a censer. Tricksters are a new and interesting class that use illusions to deceive enemies into fighting against their own. They also have the ability to temporarily increase the power of pawns beyond their limits. The Warfarer, a vocation exclusive to the Arisen again, can use every weapon and learn different skills from each vocation. By using diverse weapons, the Warfarer can respond to any situation and create combos that exceed vocational boundaries. Their lower base stats compared to other vocations, though, require them to utilize the situational strengths of different weapon types to be on par with other vocations. In this way, you could argue that they are a more complex vocation, perhaps with a higher skill ceiling, though we don't know that for sure until we play the main game. If you're not sure what vocation you wish to choose or are worried about making the wrong choice, you need not worry, as these vocations are not locked in, and if you grow tired of your chosen vocation or need to switch tactics against a difficult boss, you can switch vocations at any time by visiting a vocation guild. The combat in Dragon's Dogma 2 will certainly look familiar to Capcom players, especially those who have played Monster Hunter. In addition to specialized vocations, special attacks and flourishes, players can also utilize the environment to take down enemies in Dragon's Dogma 2. For example, busting open a nearby dam may cause flooding, washing enemies away, or logs can be brought down into the path of enemies, causing damage and knocking them prone, vulnerable to attacks. Taking advantage of these environment elements certainly opens up the game to player expression and ingenuity, and I am all for it. The combat seriously looks fun. The pawn system returns from the original game. These are AI-controlled companions designed to make the single-player adventure feel shared. You can travel with one player-created companion who will travel with you throughout your journey, and two pawns created by other players that can be downloaded from the Rift, which connects all pawns from multiple worlds. The really cool thing is that the pawns will retain all of their experiences from other players' adventures, meaning that they may come equipped with gear that you've yet to find, or provide useful information about quests they've been through that you haven't yet. According to Capcom, the pawn system has been improved in the sequel with some interesting new additions. Some pawns now may have specializations. For example, a pawn may have the Woodland Woodsmith specialization, allowing them and thereby you to translate Elvish speech and or text. Pawns are also now susceptible to Dragon's Plague, a contagious disease-like condition that infects pawns as they travel between worlds. This incorporates a risk-reward factor to the pawn system, as more powerful pawns are likely to have crossed through the rift multiple times and susceptible to a higher infection rate than their lower-level counterparts. According to the developers, terminal stage Dragon's Plague spells devastating calamity, and the odds are high that those pawns who succumb to it may turn on their master or not follow orders. According to Itsuno, Dragon's Dogma 2 will take around 37 hours to beat if you focus solely on the main story, with completionists looking at over 100 hours to explore all content and vocations. Dragon's Dogma 2 looks to offer a great experience and is definitely one of my most anticipated RPGs of the year. My excitement for the game has only grown upon researching the game and everything it has to offer. It's been a while since I've done this type of video, and I really enjoyed researching and making it. Hope you guys found it helpful and informative. Let me know if you're interested in Dragon's Dogma 2 and will be picking it up. And please remember to do me a solid and hit that like button, comment, share and subscribe to help the channel to grow and support the content I make. Anyway, hope you guys have a great week. Take care, and as always, happy gaming. I should go.